This is Mrs. Sturgeon about to explain to you how to solve a literal equation. Now, a literal equation is an equation where you might have 2 variables, you might have 3 variables, you might have 4 variables, but the goal is for us to solve to get one of those variables by itself. So in this case, and in a lot of the examples we will be doing, we'll be solving for y. So you can see in the directions, for y in terms of x. That means that you want to get the y by itself. So I start by just kind of locating where the y value is. So in our first example, it's right here, I boxed it. Now, the goal is if you want to get y by itself, you need to move any and all terms to the other side of the equation. So what I'm going to do, since the rest of this side of the equal sign is minus 5x, I'm going to do an inverse operation by adding 5x to both sides. So I'll go plus 5x plus 5x. Great. When I do negative 5x plus 5x, those terms cancel out. I'm just left with y equals, which is exactly what I wanted. Now I have to ask myself, are 9 and 5x like terms? No, they are not. So since that's the case, I would just write this as 9 plus 5x. I don't actually combine them. I don't actually add them because they are not like terms. So that is my final answer for the first example. For this example, if the y is here right next to the 4, that means the 4 and the y are being multiplied together. So my inverse operation here is going to be to divide by 4 on both sides. So I will go ahead, I need to divide each of my terms by 4. And on the left-hand side of the equal sign, 4 divided by 4 is just 1. So I'm left with 1y, also known as just y equals. 8 divided by 4 is 2, minus 16x divided by 4. 16 divided by 4 is just 4, so this just becomes 4x. And again, I accomplished my goal. I got y by itself. That's it for that example. Now for this example, it's a little more complicated. We're actually, oh, bell's ringing. We're actually in a situation right now where we have multiple steps to get y by itself. So I'm going to, again, box the y so I know what I need to accomplish here. And I need the 6x and the plus 3 to move away from that y. So first, I'm going to go ahead and start with the 6x by subtracting it to both sides. Okay, it's a positive 6x, so to eliminate that from the left, if you subtract, 6x minus 6x is nothing. Cross it out. So I'm left with 3y on the left. So notice y is not by itself yet. I will have to do something else to achieve the goal that I've set. Now, 18 minus 6x, like we said before, those are not like terms, so I will go ahead and leave it as 18 minus 6x. Okay, last step here. The 3 is the thing that's still stopping us from having y by itself. So I'm going to go ahead and divide both sides by 3 because, again, like in my last example, the 3 next to the y means multiplication. I need to divide to undo that step. So I'm going to divide every term by 3. 3 divided by 3, 1. So it becomes 1y or just y. If you put 1y instead of just y, that's perfectly fine. It's not wrong. But we don't always see it that way. So I'm just going to kind of write it as y. 18 divided by 3 is 6. 6 divided by 3, I'm going to put my minus sign. 6 divided by 3 is 2. So it becomes 6 minus 2x. All right, last example here. I'm going to do one where I don't have to solve for y. I have to solve for something else. So I've got L. I'm going to go ahead and box the L. Okay, now I need to move everything away from that L to the other side of the equal sign. So I'll start the same way I did the last problem. Let's subtract 2w from both sides. Okay, now p and 2w, not like terms. Okay, oh, I should point out though, 2w minus 2w, those cancel out, those go away. So on the left side of the equal sign, I have 2l. On the right, I have p minus 2w because, like I said, those are not like terms, so I cannot put them together. Now, last step, the 2 in front of the L, divide both sides by 2. Now, in this case, you might notice I'm writing it slightly differently than the last couple of examples. That's because I noticed that if I do p divided by 2, I'm not actually going to get a nice simplified answer here. So there's really no need to go further in the simplifying process. You can just leave it as L equals p minus 2w divided by 2. And some teachers will maybe want you to go further and write it differently, but most will be okay with writing your answer just like this. Okay, that's solving literal equations.